I signed, and I reckon within the hour I had a follow and a DM from Aaron Smith. Just like being like, mate, great to have you on board. Like, give me a shout if you need anything. And I'm there on my phone, like, smiling. She's like, what are you smiling at? Probably thinking it's like another woman.
Hello and welcome back to the RugbyPass Offload with Ryan Wilson, Max Leaf, and also one of the greatest friends of the show in brand spanking new Highlanders fly half, Freddie Burns. Freddie, mate, how are you?
Sounds weird, doesn't it? Highlanders fly half. Isn't that weird? I'm good, boys. I'm good, but I'm super stressed at the minute trying to sort the move out before I fly on Friday. But you know, exciting times ahead. So trying to keep that at the forefront of my mind. But right now it's stress central.
Nah, you'd be all right. Your mum doesn't live that far down the road, does she?
No, I've just been up there now, mate. Literally, that's why I'm late. I've just had a lasagna and a chocolate eclair, a couple of glasses of red. So she's looking after me well, mate.
Freddie, talk us through how the whole thing came about, because it's all kind of like wild.
Yeah. So like a few months ago, they expressed a bit of interest, and I said, look, it'd be something I'm interested in. Of course, it would be, but obviously, the difference between someone showing interest and actually putting an offer on the table is two different things. And then only about maybe 5 weeks ago, they put an offer. So I spoke to Leicester straight away, spoke to Wiggy and just said, look, like this has happened. It's something that I want to explore. And I'll be honest with you, mate, Leicester have been, like both sides, to be fair, the Highlanders have been very respectful and understanding with trying to get out early. And Leicester have been great as well, mate. Like Wiggy and stuff has been nothing but great in terms of trying to facilitate the move, because he understood the opportunity that was there for me. Like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I remember Joe Marchant went out, was it last season before or something, on a loan spell. And Haskell in 2013. I'm trying to think of other English players that have gone out. But it's an experience, mate, and an opportunity that is a nuts one. I never saw it coming. And now it's just, you know, all guns blazing to getting out there.
Mate, it was how's your other half taking it? Your miss put a very nice post about it up on social media. Is she super excited?
Mate, she's been class, because I'll be honest with you, I've been stress central, because obviously all the emotion around the last game, as well as like this potential move. And don't get me wrong, it's great. It's a different kind of stress to stress that people probably listening or watching this go through day to day. So I know it's not the worst stress in the world to have, but it's still been a lot, and she's been nothing but brilliant with it. It's a great opportunity for the both of us to have an experience together and go out there and sort of see how things go in terms of rugby wise, and just have a great adventure together. And like I said, I couldn't be more grateful of how good she's been about the whole thing.
Is the feeling that you'll, you know, once you're out there, because see the contract out, and then, you know, you're in that part of the world, then suddenly maybe you're going to be, you know, maybe Australia back to Japan, or what are you thinking? It's just we'll go to New Zealand for a little bit as a sort of time off, if you will.
No, so yeah, obviously go down there, have a crack. I'm already sorted. So next season, I'll be in Japan again next season. So I've signed a 2-year deal over there, mate. I thought it was the sort of right time to get out. Obviously, I don't know whether the club know that I'm saying that I'm going out there. It's already signed and stuff. But yeah, I'm back out to Japan, mate. And then this Highlanders thing come up, and to sort of look at a career, mate, having played in the Premiership, played in Super Rugby as that will come, and then had a stint in Japan as well. I feel super lucky. So it's an exciting life experience set up for the next sort of 2 years, 2 and a bit years, and something I feel real thankful for, mate, having had the career that I've had in England, and also to have these opportunities is nuts.
Have you been to New Zealand before?
Yeah, I toured there in 2014 with England.
Right.
Yeah, so
God. But you're taking your missus out there, yeah?
Yeah, Becky's coming with, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That gives me a little bit of peace in my heart, and like, you know, because I worry about you in New Zealand on your own, getting absolutely steaming every weekend. And is it hot? It's hot over there at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's technically it was 25 degrees last week, but I don't think it'll be that when I get there.
It'll be better than this.
But I'll be honest with you, mate. Like we're by the beach. We're by the beach, all that sort of stuff. So, mate, I'm just You know what it's like? As soon as you get, it's a 5-month contract as well, mate. So I'm just going to get there, literally jump in headfirst into, the culture, into the rugby, and just, see where it gets me. I'm lucky as well because obviously the pre-season games start next weekend. So I'll literally land and it'll be straight into games. So I've not got like that sort of pre-season to go through. So yeah, mate, just hop in, jump in, give it my all, play with some of the world's best players. They've got such an exciting young backline. It's going to be exciting to be a part of.
Fuck yeah.
Aaron Smith giving me service, mate. It'd be like that.
How good.
Yeah, like it's nuts. It is crazy. When I actually think about it, you sort of talk about it and you go, oh, the Highlanders. Then you actually think about what they are as a franchise and then the kind of players they got, and you think, fucking hell, like, I'm going to play for the Highlanders. Like, I got added to the WhatsApp group and it showed a picture of all their like kit and stuff, and it's like the nice Adidas. And you're like, fuck yeah, I'll have a slice of that, please.
Yeah, it is funny though. It doesn't matter where you've been, how long you've been playing a game, you still get a little bit in awe of people, and you're like, oh, hold on a minute, fuck, that's pretty cool. Playing with him or doing that, and
mate, my missus was on the sofa next to me, and she now knows a bit about rugby, but she'll be the first to admit that she's not like a. And I signed, and I reckon within the hour I had a follow and a DM from Aaron Smith. Just like being like, mate, great to have you on board. Like, give me a shout if you need anything. And I'm there on my phone, like, smiling. She's like, what are you smiling at? Probably thinking it's like another woman. And I'm like, Aaron Smith messaged me. Aaron Smith messaged me. She's like, who's that? And I'm like, just an unbelievable player. Like, honestly, it was, her face was like, what the fuck, man? What's going on?
Let's move on, though, to something similarly regarding emotions, but pretty controversial. If we just come back a little bit to the rugby, Jim Telfer, the ex-Scotland boss, saying that the time is right to scrap Flower of Scotland as the anthem, as it's not appropriate for this day and age. So references to battling the English, etc., etc. Let's start with Wilfs. What's your reaction to that?
Nah, you can't get rid of it. I reckon it's one of the best anthems out there. And I understand some of the politics around it, maybe. Like, I think he's more annoyed that it references England, how we're still sort of pick ourselves up for beating England in that battle at, what was it, Bannockburn or wherever it was, just up the road. I think my boy's actually doing it in school at the moment. But, yeah, just because it references that. No, listen, so many people absolutely love that anthem. There's like, everyone talks about it at Murrayfield. Fred, have you played at Murrayfield for England when we've sung it?
No, I haven't. But I generally, on that, I'll watch it any game at Murrayfield when they've got the lone piper on the roof and stuff like that, and you're just like, hey, it's proper hairs on the back of your neck stuff. And I mean, you're like that. Oh, I'd love to be there. I'd love to be there as an Englishman, hearing the crowd singing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's great. You need theatre in the game, and I think that anthem is like brings it like to the fore.
Even like, do you know the bit where the music goes is the a cappella as well? Things like that. Like, it's just, yeah, it's iconic for Scotland. And I think the boys absolutely love singing it. I think the fans love singing it. And
but the best thing is about it, right, is it's a shouter. It's like you can belt it out. Like, I think with England's national anthem, I've always said it. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's very proud Englishman here, but you can't really. It kind of just sort of God save. Do you know what I mean? Whereas with Flower of Scotland, you're like, oh, like you proper can give it some welly after a few beers, and I think it's a proper war cry, isn't it? I love it.
And it's true what happened. It's only talking the truth. Robert the Bruce's army defeated King Edward and sent him on his way. So why not?
Fair enough. Okay, so we're keeping that. I'm keeping it.
I think I don't think you'll find many people that would disagree.
Let's move on, but let's stick quickly with Scotland, and it's probably an interesting one both for both you boys. Previous guest on the show, Irish international John Cooney, in touch with Gregor Townsend about playing for Scotland from, I think, late February onwards. Interested to get your take, Ryan, as a proud Scotsman, but also, Freddie, with your bro doing, this there were opportunities from your perspective as well, perhaps. So, yeah, Ryan, what's your first thought on that?
Oh, it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a hard one because, listen, I know I get murdered for coming out and saying some of the stuff I say on here, but I'm still not quite there with the old residency stuff. I don't know. I just doesn't always sit that well with me. I think, if anything, it should be longer than it is at the moment. Whereas I know John Cooney has his old man's Scottish, and therefore I'm then, it's all right. His old man's Scottish, but he's played 11 caps for Ireland, and I just. Do you know what's stupid is that, remember when we were talking about it a while back and we were talking about some of the boys, like I think it was Fekatoa, was it, who could go back and play for Tonga, I think it was. And a few of those different islanders were like, yeah, no, that's good. It's good for the game. And it's because I felt like those teams almost needed the help, all the help they could get. And I think that's why it sat okay with me then. But then with the John Cooney one, I'm sort of going, oh, hold on a minute. Like, there's a lot of bloody good nines and young nines coming through as well. The likes of Jamie Dobie, you got Velicott, who's recently in there. Steele, is it Scott Steele down at Quins? And then you've got George Horn, who's been playing out his skin for Glasgow. Ali Price, the British and Irish Lion. And you go, well, where does he fit? And if he comes in and he jumps above a lot of those players, you go, I don't know. Yeah, it just, for me, because of those caps for Ireland, 11 caps for Ireland, suddenly jumping ship because you're not in the picture for them. I don't think it really works for me.
Benzie?
I'm like that. So I think what you're kind of saying, Ryan, a little bit as well, without putting words in your mouth, is it's kind of like if you're going from like a tier 1 nation to a tier 2 nation to sort of grow the game, make the game, the international game more competitive, you're kind of like all for it. But the minute it goes like a bit closer to home and it's 2 tier 1 nations, home nations, I don't know. Like, I saw Rory McConaughey, an old teammate of mine, obviously got called up for Scotland after going to work. And like, I remember reading it being like, I'm so happy for him, like made up for him to be having this opportunity. Like, it's so great. But then you kind of go, oh, but like from my point of view, obviously I've got Irish grandparents. I don't think. It's hard to say. I want to turn around and say I'd like to think that if Ireland called me up and said, "Come and play for us at the World Cup," I'd say no politely. But then I think about it. But then when I actually do think about it, I think actually I'd probably take that opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't. It's such a head fuck that, because I feel like you've got to put nail your flag to the mast and stick to it. And if it comes good, it's good. If not, I don't think you can necessarily go and play for another country.
Yeah,
it's hard not to be hypocritical, isn't it? Like,
imagine I bet if you said to him, right, there's the Ireland team and there's the Scotland team, and you which pick, he'd still go back to Ireland before he'd come to Scotland. So I think that's where you maybe go, that's not right. It's not the right sort of thing.
I think as well, the main thing for me is, and I know you're the same, Ryan, is it's not being critical of the players themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I know I would like to think I'd say no if another nation offered me a chance, but I'd probably turn around and say yes to play international rugby again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so actually, because that door's open, I think they're well within their right to take it. And I'm not going to sit here and say, if Cooney goes and plays for Scotland, or like when Rory plays for Scotland, like, I'm not going to be like critical of them, because I would probably do the same.
How does a free case of beer sound? Yeah, Wills. To celebrate the start of the Six Nations, our pals at Beer 52 are offering you a free case of delicious craft beer. Simply go to www.beer52.com/offload, and you can cover the meager postage cost of $5.95 to claim your free case of 8 unique craft beers. Now, what an amazing deal.
How good. So there's my box, right? So that's what you get. So when you subscribe, by the way, I've been there. I've been to Beer 52. I've been to their office.
Have you?
They've got a sauna in their office. DD.
Awesome.
Very cool. Like old school games, sauna, a bar. I was like, yeah, can I work here? But look at this, right? I've got a voucher for something. That's their wine 52. There you are, little plug. But don't worry, I've pre-done this. I've not looked it all in there, but I put this one in the fridge, so it's going to be very nice to enjoy. But there's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think eight beers, complete mixture of them. This one, the Seven Brothers
Equinox Pale Ale. Which one's your favourite, mate?
What is it? Something like 400 different beers. So every week, have you got a box there as well?
Yeah.
Every week, you just get that delivered to your house. It's dangerous, isn't it?
Okay, so what else? What have we got? I mean, I can see in it, but describe to everyone listening and viewing what have you got in the beer? What have you got in the box apart from the beers?
Oh, you got the beers, obviously, and then some little snacks. Look at these, darling corns, sea salt, very nice. I'll be eating them, crunching away whilst we're trying to do the podcast. Some fava beans, whatever the bloody hell fava beans are. A couple of them.
That's the healthy snack. That's perfect.
I tell you,
feel good.
I'm going to start with it. There's loads of different beers. Oh, here are Cloudwater Fuzzy. Look at that. Big ones, small ones. Crack that open. Oh, it's dry January. Oops.
Naughty me.
I've only broken dry January 30 times, seeing it's the 30th of Jan.
Oh, legend alert.
Gladiator. Ladmiral of the Banship over here. I'll tell you what, I'm not even joking. That's really nice. And I'm not just saying that because they're sponsoring us.
Well, just in any case, Beer 52 is the biggest beer club in the world. Each month, their beer experts carefully curate a case of incredible beers like the one that Ryan's got, that I've got, Max has got as well, from a different part of the world for their members to enjoy. So far, members have experienced beers from around 40 different countries spanning 5 continents, from crisp craft lagers to big juicy pale ales. You can try the best beers from across the world with the UK's #1 beer club. Look at that, Ryan. Yeah, showing off.
Hey, but how good though? Do you like to mix it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm also always taken by colours. When things are like, oh, that looks quite sort of shiny and new, I'll try that.
They do these really citrus ones that I had when I was there. Very citrusy. They've got, it's amazing. Sorry, carry on with your script.
No, but also just in case people want to know, if dark beer's not your thing, you can also choose the light only case. Just crush through the lagers. You can learn all about the beers, breweries, and regions in the ever insightful Ferment magazine. You get a couple of tasty snacks, as we've said. Even after all that, you're still why would you be unsatisfied? Look at all the different colors. You can simply pause or cancel any time. So do head to beer52.com/offload. That's beer52.com/offload to cream your free case now. Yeah, you can cream your free case now, and you can claim it as well. Beer52.com/offload. Right, let's get on to some rugby. See, Six Nations back in the greatest single competition that happens every year. Mouth-watering games. We got Wales, of course, we've talked enough about them, losing to Italy and Georgia in the last year, but then up against Ireland, many's favourite, I think, potentially for World Cup glory. Warren Gatland back in the driving seat. Any chance that the Welsh are causing an upset in Cardiff?
Nah, surely not. Surely not. I mean, he's got an unbelievable record, hasn't he? Old Gats, 2007, 2019. He did some damage, but he's brought a few. Listen, the one thing I like is he brought a few of the old boys back in. Old Ken Owens, what's his nickname again? Sheriff, steering the ship. He's I don't know. I like that Sanjay's back in. Liam Williams back in there. They've got some old heads, but they also got some bloody good young players. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, isn't it? Welsh rugby.
Yeah, but you say that, mate. But you look at the majority of the squads from the Ospreys, right? And the Ospreys have been on fire in the last few. It's like Gatland comes back and suddenly they're all like, here we go. Like, I want a slice of this again. So, I don't know, mate. I think Wales are going to be like the dark horse. Like I think, I don't go, if you're looking on previous like form and stuff like that, you'll go in.
Now we can scrap all that. We can scrap all that.
Yeah. But I generally think that they'll be like, under Gatland, they're a completely different beast. Completely different beast. And you've seen that. You've seen his effect in their sort of regional teams, especially in the Ospreys, where the bulk of the squad's from. You've seen it in the last few weeks. So who knows?
That's what we were saying. See, with all these late changes of the coaches, it almost gives players a kick up the arse, and they suddenly get a little bit of hope, a little bit of incentive to go, oh, hold on a minute, new coach, I can get back in there and do well. So, listen, I'd actually love to see him do well again, but the only issue is they've got Ireland first up, and 20 of that 37-man squad are from Leinster. 20 players, and none of them could play at the weekend. And then Leinster went and absolutely hammered Cardiff. Cardiff barely touched the ball at the weekend, and Leinster all over them. And that was with 20 players missing. It's fucking scary. So
it is, yeah. But then not many Cardiff boys are in the Welsh squad, are they? Let's be honest. Which probably makes it like they were technically stronger. But I don't know. I'm gonna back, and I'll tell you now, if Tommy Raffel if there's anyone who's gonna nick ball and pinch a bit of ball for Wales, it's going to be that guy, mate. He's been unbelievable in the last few weeks for us at Leicester, and I think he's going to be, if he plays, like that breakdown's going to be key, because you need to slow Ireland down. If they get quick ball,
at the weekend,
I not because obviously I just I've not really spoke to the boys too much afterwards. I don't know how serious it is. I think not too sure, but if he's fit and he plays, he's going to be vital, because you give Ireland quick ball, they will pull anyone's pants down. Yeah. On that as well, on Wales quickly, I think just a quick tip of the hat to Owen Williams as well, getting back in there. Like, I spoke to him just before the Ospreys game when we played them, and genuinely 2 months ago he was looking at getting a job on a building site because Worcester had gone and he didn't have anything, and then suddenly, he's been given a chance to go to the Ospreys. Played unbelievably well and got himself back in a Wales squad. So to bring yourself back from, like, he genuinely was like, he's got a kid on the way, and he was like, mate, I was about to start on a building site 2 months ago.
But that would excite me. I'd love that, going on a building site.
Yeah, maybe more you than me, mate.
Yeah, right, just so we touch on them, Ireland, between them and France to win it, I reckon. Between them and France, like the way they're going at the moment, they've been incredible. So that'll be the big matchup. But I mean, you got the heart of the fucking Leinster team through there. Josh van der Fleer, obvious one to pick out, someone to watch. He's been incredible all season. Will be again. Gary Ringrose, though, for me, he's outstanding. He is so good. I reckon he's going to carve up. And then I love Matt Hansen. Love the bloke, even though he's an Aussie. He'll go in there and do a good job as well. So Ireland to win that. Ireland are going to win that 29-16.
Right, nice one. Let's move on to Twickenham. Borthwick now in charge. Perhaps the shackles loosen. We don't know. From the Eddie Jones reign, 90,000 England fans going nuts. Do we think a thumping England victory? Freddie, let's start with Freddie.
Yeah. Go first.
Here's the thing I'm struggling with, right? Is right now, we just don't know where he's going to go. Is he going to go Farrell at 10? Is he going to go Smith? Like, my head says, Steve likes quite a heavy kicking game. So therefore, it make probably more sense to play Farrell and have that control at 10. But then Nick Evans is the attack coach. So is he there championing Smith?
Of course he is.
It's going to be a difficult one. The one thing I say, I think Steve, an England win, just because I think that the emotion, and what's the old phrase they say is it the even dead cats bounce or whatever? So have you never heard that saying, Ryan?
No, I haven't. No,
I think it's from it's basically from the stock exchange, where like even if a stock is plummeting, it will bounce up. Sure, I don't know, but basically, in football when you see a new manager come in,
it's a thing.
Yeah.
Mark, is it a thing? Yeah,
mate, we're gonna have the RSPCA on here. Fucking next week.
It's like an investment. I think it's an investment.
How many fucking dead cats have you been throwing around?
No, mate, don't get me started on cats, mate. The missus one can't come to New Zealand. Anyway, it's So I reckon you'll see like a reaction, and like you see. And I'm not saying it's the same, but you see it in football when the new manager goes in and suddenly a team wins 2 or 3, but then it peters off. And I'm not saying England will do that, because I think Steve, Kev, and those boys will have them on it. It's just a question of whether Steve's had enough time to get them on the page that he wants. But I think England at Twickenham will do a job.
You heard it here, people. Freddie Burns says England are dead cats.
Nah,
Bouncing.
don't say that. I'll get me that New Zealand SIM card quick because my phone's gonna be blowing up from Steve.
But they can bounce back.
No, but I just think that you'll see that. Oh, for fuck's sake, can we rewind that? Fucking up, no. England will be class, mate. They're gonna win every game. They're gonna win every game.
Quickly, Wills, can we just get Burnsy your 10, 12, 13 if you were picking the England side?
And 9.
I'm absolutely. Firstly, I'm gutted to see that Dan Kelly's pulled out, isn't he, with a thigh injury? I would have liked to have seen him get an opportunity. I reckon now I would go, if everyone's fit, I'd probably like to see him go Farrell, Tuolangi, and I'd like to see Ollie Lawrence get a shot at 13, and just see what that power midfield can do. If Daly was fit, I would have had Daly in that 13 channel. I think he's been on fire, but if he was fit, but now he's not, I would go Lawrence in there and see how he goes.
Can you? Do you know what? That's just reminded me when Tuolangi plays, it's going to be him up against Tuipulotu. Oh my crash up! That's going to be dangerous. That's going to be unbelievable.
But also here's the thing quickly as well with England. They've lost Daly, Slade, Dan Kelly, and they could still chuck in a Tuolangi, Ollie Lawrence combination in the centre.
Oh, that's what I mean.
And the one thing I'll say about Steve, generally, he's such a tactician with how he goes about his games that he'll know, he'll tinker around with it and make it work.
From just whilst we're talking about the sort of coaching, and Kevin Sinfield very well from him having coached you as well. What's he bringing into this particular new era of the England squad?
He'll bring in clarity, simplicity, which I think, Ryan, you'll agree. Defence coaches that try and chop and change all this stuff, it always ends in tears. Whereas Kev's very simple, very direct. The main thing is you need a bloke who's a defence coach who you'll run through a brick wall for. And I think Kev is exactly that bloke. You just need a buy-in from the boys, and he'll have that from the off already. And then the boys that don't know him will get to know him and realise how good a bloke he is. And they'll be defensively very tight, I reckon, because the man who's asking them to stick their heads in places they shouldn't, would stick it in there himself. Do you know what I mean?
I don't even know him personally, and I'll do it for him. All the stuff, he sounds like an incredible bloke. Every time I've heard him speak, fuck yeah, you would. And you're right, you need someone that's not complicating too much. And I think the Scotland boys are like that with Steve Tandy as well. They absolutely love him, the defence coach at Scotland. So no, you're right on that.
Is that the main thing? Because I remember Danny Cipriani saying that last week about that's what Sean Edwards brought, and effectively most people know how to tackle and do the things that are asked, but essentially it's actually on the mental side and being like, I want to run through a wall for this guy. That's the main quality.
Yeah, and it's trusting what's in place as well. Like defense is all about making sure you trust inside and out, and not flying out of line and having these systems in place and trusting them. And by the sounds of it, the way you're talking about Borthwick, Sinfield, they're going to be people that want everything out there. Right, how exactly do we want this done? That's how we want it done, and you don't even have to think twice. Yeah.
Mate, they'll get the buy-in from the boys, and even Kev, mate, he's probably busy this week. He sent me a message wishing me well, all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? He's always got time, and he's one of those. He doesn't have a go at anyone. So I'll miss a tackle, and he'll send me a clip, and he'll be like, mate, and we need you to make this tackle, and I'll be like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like I'm not angry. I'm just wanting more.
Mate, you must have
I will give it. I will give it.
You must have pissed Borthers off, mate, because even Sinfield texts you, but big Borthers haven't. Yeah.
Nah, mate, Steve's just a busy man, mate. He'll send me a message, no doubt.
Well, just so you know, even after all of that, Scotland will still win. I know it for sure. Scotland will win by 1 point. I think. What was that? That's four out of the last 5 years we've had it, and I think it's just going to carry on.
Just okay. We'll get Freddie's already said he thinks that it'll be the England bounce back, if you will. But quick one, and what are your thoughts on the critics who say that, Steve Borthwick's teams only have one way to play, and that once that's found out, that they lose a bit of their magic?
On the Steve thing, I think it's bollocks. I think genuinely he's the best coach I've played under, and as much as all coaches have their traits, he'll be the first to admit that he's not a Harlem Globetrotters, Harlequins running rugby coach. He is still tactically the smartest coach and the most forward-thinking coach that I've played under, and that's what I experienced last year. That's like even again around this 10 debate around sort of, do they go Farrell, do they go Smith? Steve will be sat there and he'll know exactly when he wants to pull that card, whichever one it is. I've said on this show before, I think if they start, say, a Youngs and a Farrell, right, and then as soon as there's some tired legs and stuff like that, you're bringing on a Van Portfleet and a Smith to sort of speed the game up. Wow, do you know what I mean? What are two combinations to have? And Steve will know what, the strings he's got to his bow, and he'll know at what stage he wants to pull them. So,
but is that what he did with Leicester then? Would he try and start with something a little bit more structured and then go a bit looser? Or is that just sort of thinking that what might happen?
No, he was always. I remember one thing he always said to us was opportunity overrides everything. So, yes, we have our plan and our structure and all that sort of stuff, but if the opportunity presents itself, no matter where it's from, you have a license to go and take it. And don't get me wrong, he wants to, he's very evidence based. So if you run it 3 times for your own 22 and you don't get out any of those times, he's going to say kick the bloody ball. Do you know what I mean? But he's not as. It amazes me how negative people think he is as a coach, and genuinely, he's far from it. Because also, and again, I think people look at the kicking game and they see any time boot goes to ball as a negative, and it really isn't. It can be the most power. I think Leicester last year, I think we scored more tries from attacking kicks than any team by a long stretch. So it's never just kick it. It's
no,
always,
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's
Stormers, I see one of the highest kicking teams. They won the league last year. They were one of the highest kicking teams. There's loads of different ways. Talking to cats, skinning the cat.
Yeah, mate. Leinster. Yeah, talking about cats. Leinster kick the ball more than any team in the URC. Do you know what I mean? All these Quins, the year they won the league 2 years ago, they kicked the ball more than anyone. So it's not just about they kick the ball. There is an art and a tactic to how you kick the ball, where you kick the ball, who you kick the ball off, that kind of thing. There's a lot to it.
Just a quick one, Freddie. Have you ever seen Steve let his hypothetical hair down? Did he get involved in the celebrations post the Prem final?
In the way Steve does, yeah. You know what I mean? Was he naked on the table doing the helicopter? No. Do you know what I mean? No. But
we'll cut out the no.
Yeah, but I tell you now, with the with Steve and Kev's quite similar in a way. He enjoys seeing the boys have a crack. He enjoys. When I signed for Leicester, he was like, mate, we want your personality. I remember I was in the gym and I went down to my boxers and I rolled my boxers up and tucked them in my pants and started, thrusting the hip, shall we say. And then all the boys stop and stare at me, and Steve was stood 5 meters behind me. And he just sort of shook his head, but he had a wry smile. Do you know what I mean? He's not he's not miserable in the fact that he comes around and doesn't talk and that. He's like I said, he isn't the life and soul of the party as in the one in the middle, but he'll be sat in the corner watching, enjoying what he's seeing. That makes sense. That sounds wrong, but
trousers on or trousers off?
On, mate, on. No,
let's do score predictions, Burnsy. Ryan said Scotland by 1 point. Thoughts, England by how many?
I'm actually going to think it's going to be a classic, boys. I think it's going to be a 28-25 England.
I've gone 20,
I don't think they're going to run away with it. Either way, I think it'll be a hell of a battle.
Boom, right. Let's finally round off the the weekend in Italy. Is there any chance that the Italians can get what would be probably the biggest upset of the tournament on the cards at the Stadio Olimpico?
No.
I say no, but I'm the one who slagged them off before they went to Wales and was like, it's just a shame that they never compete and they're never in a game. And then they went to Wales and obviously pulled off that unbelievable win. I think what people are looking for from Italy is to just be in the game on that 60, 65 minute.
Yeah, but they always fucking are. They always are. And then the wheels fall off. And listen, I hope we give them podcaster's curse, let's call it. And they do beat France. I would love nothing more, but they nearly did it. That's what we always say, but you can't see it, can you?
I can't see it. I can't see it, but
we hope for it.
Who knows? I think it'd be more French complacency than Italian sort of outplaying them. But I don't know, mate. All I know is France for me are the ticket to watch, man. Like in terms of watching the team play and how they've gone over the last couple of seasons. They're such a good team to watch, so it's going to be interesting. But I'm never writing Italy off again just because of the amount of messages I got for absolutely going in on them and then them beating Wales in Wales. So, but I don't see it though. I think quite a comfortable French win in the end.
Interesting that it's the second game, Ireland-France, isn't it? So just we'll know pretty much second game in who's going to win the Six Nations. Because once those, but it is obviously in Ireland as well. So it's going to be a big one. But yeah, I sadly can't see Italy doing the job, but I hope they do. I hope our old mate Ange Capozzo does the job on them and scores a few fruity tries. He scored an absolute perler at the weekend against Toulouse as well. And good to see Jake Pelledri back out there for
Italy. We like Jake.
He's going to have a good Six Nations, I think. I think he's got a lot to go out there and play for. So it'll be exciting to see him do a job.
So we can ridicule you further down the line, who wins that Ireland-France game?
Is it in Ireland?
Yeah, in Ireland.
I can't really. I'm going to go. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. I won't explain it. I'm going to go France, right? Only because I believe that in the last couple of seasons they've been that team as well that can win a dogfight when it comes to it. Like they'll still play their amazing rugby, but was it the Australia game in the autumn where Pinot scores at the end? And that they've become that team where unless you're 2 scores up, like and pretty comfortable, they've got players that can just do something ridiculous. So I'm gonna say France at risk of egg on my face.
Right, here you are then. I'll give you the opposite. I'm going to go Ireland. And do you know why? Because I reckon the way that the French are a little bit more loose and the way that cards are coming out left, right and centre at the moment, I reckon France will get a red card and Ireland will scrape it.
That's not a bad shout. That's the thing you've got to consider now, isn't it?
I know. It's fucking
cards,
mental.
Mate. It's not many games will end 15-on-15, I tell you.
That's the sad thing. I reckon at the end of the Six Nations, we're going to be talking about like big decisions, loads of things, all because of red cards. How many red cards is there going to be in the Six Nations, Fred? Go.
6.
Yeah, well, I'll go 7 then, just to be a little bit higher.
Anyway, let's. That is sadly all the time we've got left for this week. Massive thank you to Ryan as always. But Burnsy, thank you very much for coming on. Like, best of luck in your world travels, your adventures in Super Rugby. Check in with us as well whilst you're out there and let us know how everything's going and the differences, because I know we'd love to hear about all of that, and I think our listeners would love to hear from that as well. But huge, mate. Travel safely. Best of luck, and thank you all for listening.
Mate. Appreciate it.